This is the plaintiff, Stuart Berkowitz. He says he lost 5 huge trees in Superstorm Sandy and hired the defendant to take care of removing them and the stumps. The guy got rid of the trees, took out 3 stumps, and then was never heard from again. He had to hire someone else to finish the job, and he wants to be reimbursed for the $294.95 it cost him. This is the defendant, Gene Hernansky. He says he removed 3 of the stumps on the plaintiff's property, but informed him the other 2 were too big to get rid of with the equipment he had. He then notified the plaintiff he would need to bring over his backhoe to finish up. Well, the weather was very bad this winter. He told the guy he'd be over in the spring, was ready and willing and able, but the impatient man sued him instead. So here they are. He's accused of stumping a customer.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff hired the defendant to remove tree stumps after Hurricane Sandy and says the guy skipped out without doing the full job. But the defendant says he needed heavy equipment to finish, but the defendant jumped the gun and sued. It's the case of I got junk from a trunk.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Stuart Berkowitz, you are suing Gene Hernansky.
Yes.
And Dalzell's Lawn and Landscaping. You have power of attorney for Dalzell's Lawn and Landscaping. All right, for $294.25, the cost to complete a job that you say you had paid Gene Hernansky for and that he did not complete. Tell me what's going on.
Yes, Your Honor, on approximately November of 2013, after Sandy hit my area, several trees were destroyed and left my
What area is your area?
Manalapan, New Jersey.
Okay.
And I contracted Mr. Hernansky to clear everything in my backyard.
What was he clearing? How many trees?
There were probably 5 trees.
5 big trees?
Yes, and full debris. It says so right here in my
Let me see your
receipt.
contract. Okay. How much are you paying?
I paid him $1,100.
Okay, so go on.
He left 2 enormous stumps in my backyard. I tried calling several times. First it was cold weather, then it was warm weather, numerous excuses, and then the last 4 or 5 phone calls I made to him, he never responded.
Cutting and removal of all fallen trees and trees that are split from Hurricane Sandy.
Yes.
Rake and remove branches, bark, pine cones, etc.
And all
Entire
debris.
area will be cleaned of any debris.
Correct.
$1,100. Okay. Now, he is who you hired.
Correct.
Okay, and then you were subbing part of it to this other company?
No, I was subbing off of Mr. Danzel. I was just doing the stumps, Your Honor.
Oh, you were just doing the stumps?
Yes.
Okay, so stumps were part of the agreement?
Yes.
Okay. And so you were doing the stumps and Dalzell was doing everything else?
Yes.
All right. How many stumps were there?
6.
6 stumps. Is that accurate?
Okay, I'll accept that.
And how many stumps did you do?
4.
And why didn't you do the other 2 stumps?
Because I didn't have my backhoe to dig them out at the time, and I told him in the spring I will return when weather was permitting.
Why does he have to wait?
Well, because the 2 stumps that were in the ground, I had to dig out with the backhoe.
I understand.
just
So,
couldn't
but you
pull
have a backhoe, right?
But it was
I
down
mean-
at the time.
It was what?
Down broke at the time.
Ah, now we're getting to it. So when did you when did you get another backhoe and or fix that backhoe?
I fixed the attachment like 3 months later.
Ah, but see, none of that is in his contract that he has to wait. Why didn't you just use somebody else's backhoe, rent a backhoe, and just finish the contract?
Right.
Right, because that costs more money. All right, so now you had to pay somebody $294 to get those 2 other stumps out. You did that what month?
I did that in March of the contract. I got an estimate in March, and I called Mr. Hernansky again. I left a message.
How many times had you called him and left messages?
About 6.
And he wasn't returning your calls?
Not
Were you
one.
not returning his calls?
Yes, I would. Yes, I did, Your Honor.
How come you said something in your answer to the complaint about how I probably should have answered his calls?
Well, I did in the beginning until he got nasty, and then I says, well, you can wait. When the weather's right, I'll be there.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, but except for that, not so much. I'm not buying that. Now,
get-
what was all this stuff in your answer to the complaint about how he paid for some stumps but not other stumps? So the stumps I didn't do, he hadn't paid for. What was that? All that stuff? Because I don't
Right,
hear
it
any
was
of that.
$75 per stump. I only charged the gentleman for 2.
Wait. You got a contract. You charged him $1,100. He paid you
No,
$1,100.
I didn't charge $1,100. Mr. Danzel did. I subcontracted just the stumps, Your Honor.
Stop. Is this a contract with Denzel or with you?
Danzel.
So this is your contract with Dalzell. Do you have a contract with him?
That was his contract that he gave me.
Is this the contract that you gave him?
I did not. No,
Who
sir.
gave him this? Who'd you meet? Who'd you hire?
This gentleman
Did you
right
two
here.
talk to each other and did you sell this like, are you the one who closed the deal?
No, Thomas did.
Who's Thomas?
Mr. Danzel.
Dalzell.
Danzel, yes.
So
It's not true.
he's kind of unmistakable.
I only subcontracted the stumps for $75 a stump. Or planting
Do you have a
grass.
separate contract with him? Is that what
I
you're
have
saying?
nothing. Just
No,
my
I
word.
mean verbal.
That's it.
No, but that's my question. Do you have a
Right.
separate verbal contract with
Right,
him?
where I was to go in and pull the stumps out at $75 a piece.
So then where's the subcontract? You understand what the phrase subcontract means?
Right.
Maybe you don't.
We don't have it in writing, it's just.
That doesn't matter. Subcontract means that this, included in this, is stump removal, which I can't help but notice isn't there. Including in this is sod, which I can't help but notice isn't there. Did you pay him a separate money from the 1,100?
I paid him the entire $1,100.
You
No,
paid
he-
him the entire.
That's correct.
I have like two totally wildly different stories going on here.
Okay, so if there's a 3-month delay because the backhoe is broken, can the customer end the deal? Just say, hey, I've waited too long.
Yeah, 3 months is definitely too long to.
But if there's a good excuse because the backhoe was broken,
Depends on the contract.
well, the contract doesn't say if the backhoe breaks. No, but the contract doesn't say anything. What do you think?
I think so. Yeah.
It can end the contract.
Yeah, absolutely.
3 months is too long.
I
Way
think it
too
depends on
long.
how it broke.
Well, does it really depend on how it broke?
Right.
We'll talk about it later. Going inside the courtroom.
Did you get the 1,100 from him?
No, I didn't. He paid me $150 cash. That's it.
I'd like to try to understand something that I don't get about this. I'm looking at a contract, which is supposedly between you and Dalzell, the gentleman who's not here, Thomas Dalzell. And in that contract, it says cutting removal of all fallen trees and trees that are split from Hurricane Sandy. Rake and remove branches, bark, pine cones, etc. Entire area will be cleaned of any debris. It doesn't say resod and it doesn't say stump. Are you saying that that was part of this contract?
Correct. And I subcontracted somebody else to remove the 2 stumps.
But I know about that. That's what you had to do later because you say he didn't do what he was supposed to do. But
Correct.
first I have to get to the point where I
Okay.
see that he's
I
supposed to
understand.
do something.
Right.
What agreement do you have with this fellow who is not Thomas Dalzell?
First of all, the agreement was with Gene, not Thomas DeZell.
But you understand that this is signed and submitted to you by one Thomas Dalzell, and the top of the proposal says Dalzell's apostrophe S with Dalzell's address. And you say you never had the original deal with him, that it was
Right.
Dalzell.
Right.
And according to you, Dalzell calls you and brings you in?
Yes.
Okay. But you say no, but that's, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck and it walks like a duck, it's starting to look like a duck. I mean, I don't know what to do with this. Do you have a different contract with him that you could show me, or is this your
No.
one original contract?
That's the only contract I have.
Can I see your license?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm starting to think he's Dalzell.
No, he's not. I know Thomas.
Okay. So you know Thomas Dalzell.
Yes, I do. And I'm pretty upset now about that.
Yeah.
You still need a license?
Now,
Your Honor?
no, not really.
No.
So Dalzell gives to him an affidavit for him to bring to court that says as follows: 11:30, Gene Hernansky and myself, along with 3 of my employees, cut and removed fallen trees from the home of Stu Berkowitz. We did this work for $750, which Stu paid us that day. That's not $1,100. So why the difference?
I gave all the money to him.
How much money did he pay to you or Thomas?
He paid me $150, Your Honor.
How much money did he pay to Thomas?
I don't know.
What did Thomas pay you?
When we were done, I think $100 and some.
In addition to the $150 that you got
Yes.
from him. Gene had been charging $75 per stump for all the jobs he assisted me on. Gene told me he had pulled half of the stumps out and was paid $150, which he gave me $75. So this is a job that, since he gives to you, he pays you half, you get half?
Yes, I gave him $75 for hooking me up with the job.
Did you hand him $150?
I don't remember.
According to you, he handed you $150 for 2 stumps.
Yes.
2 or 3?
2, I did 4, but I only charged for 2 because 2 was out of the ground already.
Say it
just had
again. 2 was that?
2 of the stumps were out of the ground already, so I just had to push them up into the pile.
So you charge him for 2, which you used a stump grinder for?
No, a front end loader.
A front end loader.
Yes.
But the other 2 were too hefty and would require
Well,
a back load.
They were in the ground, Your Honor, and I had to dig them out with a backhoe. And my backhoe was down at the time. It's an attachment.
So
was
your
never told.
testimony is, I did not get paid for the other two.
Yeah,
I did not charge for them because I did not do them.
that's right.
And he did not pay me or anyone else for them.
No, ma'am.
When you hand me the contract with Dalzell, why are you suing? Oh, you did sue Dalzell. And then Dalzell chooses not to be here today and sends you. Go ahead. What did you want to say?
I was never told about his backhoe problem. He never called. I haven't spoken to him in over a month and a half. He's never returned my phone calls. And then I was told by the lawn service that unless the stumps are removed, they can't work on my backyard. So I independently
Who's the lawn service? You had a third party that I don't have here.
Tom DeZell is in lawn service.
Wait. Are you kidding me?
I had no idea about this
Do
arrangement.
you have,
with him
okay,
until-
stop. Hold on. Is there another contract with Tom DeZell?
For my lawn, not for this.
Right. And does that contract for the reseeding, so then this doesn't include reseeding, like you said.
Correct.
Reseeding is in another contract where you're paying DeZell how much?
Just part of his lawn care, whatever the contract was. I don't have it in front of me. I pay him per cutting, $35, and clean up, I just paid him $900. But that has nothing to do with him. He just conveniently used Dalzell's contract, but more of my work is
Yeah,
with
but you know who
Gene.
Dalzell is.
He
Dalzell's
came-
your guy who you
Yeah,
always use.
But I didn't know the relationship they had, Your Honor. I'm telling you that the stump removal and tree removal was strictly with
Right,
Gene
but see, I have to
Hernansky.
decide. Let me explain something to you. That's fine. Then let's put this away, and then let's talk about the stump removal and grinding and whatever that is strictly between you two. Do you have a writing with him documenting what you were supposed to pay?
That's the only contract.
Yeah, but no, because this is your guy who always does your work, who is
Not
past,
always does
present,
that.
and future. This is the guy who does your lawn care before and is doing your lawn care afterwards, and who provided an affidavit for him that his deal is just to get $75 per stump. And he says all this guy ever paid me was $150. If I worked with DeZell to do other stuff, that's between me and DeZell, and I got paid for it separately. The only thing this gentleman ever paid me was $150. That's all I charge him for, even though I removed 4 stumps because 2 of them I just pushed. But the other 2 is prospective work. I didn't get paid for it. I didn't do it. Go hire somebody else. He's annoying me. He's rude. I don't feel like working for him anymore. That's his version. So how can you sue me for what it cost you to get somebody else to do it when I only got paid for the work I did do? You didn't see. In other words, for you to collect from him the work you had to pay somebody else to do, you have to prove that you paid him for that work that you got somebody else to do. And now you're telling me that it's exactly how he says, which is a verbal contract between you two for the stump issue, a contract with DeZell for the tree removal issue, another contract I don't have in front of me with DeZell for the sodding issue, which you have to finish your contract with him for before he sods. But if he didn't feel like doing it and you ended up having to pay somebody else, and you just had to end up hiring somebody else, because this guy just works by the stump and couldn't finish the job, then why does he have to pay you $300? The answer is no. Verdict for the defendant.
Well, here he comes slowly and deliberately out of the courtroom here with what on your mind after this verdict goes against you?
He lied in court. That's very obvious. It's my fault for not getting better documentation.
Yeah, that's always a good idea. You could have had his name on some kind of a contract. You had contracts with the other person.
Well, that's my fault.
All right, that person is still, whoever that person is, still does your work, right? Your regular work?
As of
Or you-
today, he's not going to do it anymore.
All right, right down there. All right, come on out here. All right, so you're off the hook.
Yes.
And so how are you feeling coming out of here?
I feel very good. The judge was like, very good. I think everything was the way it should have went.
Right.
I didn't do what I didn't do. I did what I was supposed to do.
You're in the stump business?
No, I
Is that
just
what's
do tree removal at times, when there's jobs.
Right, so storms.
Storms. yeah.
Big for you.
Big storms are great.
How do you get a huge stump out of the ground anyway?
With a backhoe.
What does that mean? What do you do?
It's a
Grind it up?
excavator. Like you tear it out.
Tear it out?
Rip all the roots around it out and pull it out.
Hurts. Harvey?
A lot of people think that if somebody breaches a contract, you're entitled to money automatically. Not so. Even if the contract is breached and it's the other person's fault, you still have to prove you suffered damage. If you can't prove that, you get 0.